back. Episode 2. We really use our kitchen a lot. We cook in it 3 times a day, if not more. But we have different ideas about what we want our kitchen to look like in between the cooking times, because obviously 3 times a day there's stuff all over the place, it's messy, we're chopping, there's dishes in the sink, and that is the sign of a well-loved kitchen. In between our cooking experiences, I prefer to have completely cleared countertops. It's like the moment in the day in which there's less clutter and I can feel more relaxed, and that's just what is aesthetically pleasing and calming to me. But I know that that's not your ideal, so will you talk about what you feel is your ideal kitchen?
I think from a practical perspective, I want clear countertops because I want to start a cooking session with all the usable space at my disposal. I think probably where our opinions diverge is what to do with the back bit of the countertops, where I'm not ever going to use those to chop or to, stage
like
stuff that I'm about to cook. Just the back, 8 inches of the countertop.
Okay.
In your perfect world, there'd be nothing on these back 8 inches. Whereas to me, it's like, that's the most convenient spot for things that actually get used on a daily basis.
Well, I've heard you say too, though, that it's more than just practicality. You like the look.
Yeah, I think it would look. I think that extreme that I just presented of nothing on it, I feel that would look weird and look like a show house, like that nobody lives here. But I can also, I can relate to the less clutter, makes for a less cluttered mind, even when just planning what to cook. But also, at the same time, there's a less cluttered experience in the cooking if the things I need are close at hand, as opposed to all over the place, stashed away, getting out a stool to climb up, leaving the room to go get something out of somewhere else. Like that also adds a lot of clutter to my life and my experience in the kitchen. It's just not visual clutter.
To be clear, in my ideal worlds, we would still have the knife block, we would have all the utensils we use on the stovetop, and we would have the kettle. And whatever that little plate is called, where you put the dirty spoon.
The spatula plate.
The spatula plate. I like all of those things, and we actually are using them so consistently that they need to be here. And I think it's very normal to have these types of utensils out.
And the other things we have out are like the prettier things, like the mortar and pestle, the KitchenAid.
Yes.
These are not things that are used every day, but they're prettier.
Here's the other thing that just drives me crazy, and he knows this, but it needs to be emphasized, is cords. I just cannot stand cords, and we have so many cords in this kitchen. We've gone over this time and time again. I don't know that there is a way to fix it, but we're gonna take a look at that today. I don't really think that we're gonna get rid of a lot because we, as I said, do use almost everything that's in here, but we haven't gone over our kitchen items in the 2 years that we've lived here. Hopefully we can get rid of some things just to make our lives easier.
Or even just rethinking where some stuff goes could be. Make a big difference. Yeah.
All of our plates, bowls, wine glasses, we have an excessive amount of all of these things. We put all these things on our wedding registry. We got them then. It definitely feels like it's a lot, especially when it's just the 2 of us living here. We always are just using the top 2 items, but we do really enjoy hosting people, and there have been a lot of different times where we have used almost all of...
Yeah, definitely.
We've never used 12 wine glasses.
That's probably pretty close.
That's maybe a bit much.
I think it's actually the champagne flutes, because we got more champagne flutes than we asked for. I don't think we've ever used anything close to all of the champagne flutes we own.
I don't want to get rid of any of those items because it doesn't make sense in our life. We love to host, we love to have friends. But I do think that we could consider taking some of them downstairs to live in the basement so that we could open up more storage space for things that we're using more regularly.
Okay.
That we can put in those. And I know you say you
is.
don't want to have to go on a whole journey to get things, and that feels a little chaotic. But I mean, it's like 4 steps over there.
Well, it depends how frequently I use them, right? So the mortar and pestle could live out there.
And that is exactly...
it's used, but not every day. And
that is the perfect example of the type of thing that I'm thinking. Okay, the last thing that I want to bring up are the cookbooks.
Oh yeah. Well, I like to collect and read cookbooks.
We have so many cookbooks.
We don't even have one whole shelf. We need a few more to fill the shelf, actually.
I think a big genre of things that people like to attack when they're journeying towards minimalism is books. And I've already told him privately, but I'll repeat it here again. I am not going to address books in this series. We are not going to address our books because I know how much books mean to him. And I know that you're never gonna want to get rid of books.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is we do have an amazing storage system right now where we don't feel like we're just surrounded by books and don't have...
They're tucked away.
They're tucked away, and we do use them. We do not use every cookbook. I think it would be interesting maybe to just do a quick once-over with
I'm very open to the possibility that there are 3 cookbooks in there that I would be willing to get rid of.
He actually reads cookbooks top to bottom, and he reads them again and again.
I think the difference is I don't cook out of these cookbooks following a recipe top to bottom very often. But they're inspiration. I use them as inspiration. And I have gotten good ideas from most of the cookbooks we own. And then I might want to revisit that. You know, of all the types of books, cookbooks are really the type you're most likely to crack back open a year later. Where do we start?
It's such a good question.
I would say we can take all of these downstairs.
I agree.
And just have these 4 rocks glasses.
So then how many wine glasses do you feel is reasonable?
I think 6.
That's exactly
is the right
what I was
amount for up here.
And we have 11.
Never get rid of a wine glass because somebody's gonna break one.
Look at how much space we're already opening up. This is so exciting. Here's where things get interesting. Let's start with
getting rid of those.
These.
I actually think we can actually get rid of.
That is exactly what I was gonna say. We had a phase where we were sort of getting into espressos, but we both came to the realization that we don't like espresso. We like black coffee, we want a full coffee. So we just don't need to own these because we're never gonna be drinking. I love supporting small business pottery people. I love supporting small potter businesses. What is the best way to say it? I love buying.
All those ways.
Okay, I love buying. I love buying one-of-a-kind coffee mugs. All of our mugs are from small business potters.
We potters.
From We Potters. This mug I really, really loved. I love a speckle, but I dropped this mug and it leaks. And it's we've kept it for an entire year and
just for the vibes.
Just for the vibes, but we can't use it because it leaks. So I do think today, here's the crack.
Maybe there's some hope that a wee potter watches this video and tells you how to fix that crack.
Maybe.
If you are a wee potter, please tell us if this is fixable.
We can't figure out what to close the crack with that is non-toxic because obviously we're gonna be drinking out of this, so.
And like the plates and the pasta bowls, like we have more than we typically use.
But they're not taking up any
It's not gonna save us any space. Exactly.
Yes, yeah. And again, like these have broken.
Yeah, they will.
Like the wine glasses, they will continue to break, and we actually do just end up using them when we're having people over for dinner and stuff. And then I think let's put Murphy's stuff.
All up here?
Yep. We just have a 1 bowl, 1 plate, 1 cup for her. That's all we need. We're doing the dishes after she eats every time. We don't need a whole set of stuff for her.
Creates more mess if we have the option.
Okay, so now with the bottles, so we have a bottle warmer. She breastfeeds, but she does go to daycare 3 times a week. So we have bottles for that. We only ever send her with 3 bottles.
Yeah.
We have 5 bottles up here.
I think we just have 3 bottles in the warmer, like live here.
That's what I was thinking.
And
we have like some bottle nipples and stuff that are thrown back there that we don't use. So I think we can clean those out. Yeah. So now, look at all this extra space we have to put stuff from the kitchen.
Well, should we start with the mortar and pestle? Okay, we're doing some drawers.
We have literally 2 forks.
We don't have enough of any of this.
No, we do. I mean, when it's just you and I, it's perfect, and we have nicer stuff downstairs.
Sure.
So let's address this
situation. Ooh, room for improvement. I'm gonna take out all the stuff we use all the time, and then we'll see what's left.
No, we literally we hate these.
This is broken.
I just am really not a believer in single-use tools. It's so silly. It takes 2 seconds to cut an avocado.
Well, here's another single-use tool. See ya.
Yeah.
See ya. This is a single-use tool that we actually use.
Yes, this we do need. This can stay up here. This drawer is a bit of a nightmare, so I guess same thing, let's just like pull everything out. That's pretty good. Not super well organized, but
just more minimal.
More minimal, easier to get to stuff. This is the tricky cabinet because it's really hard to get to stuff back there.
There's always one in every kitchen.
There is. I think I can get rid of this.
Okay.
I love this thing, but it doesn't keep anything warm, which is just such a bummer, but it's so cute. This was really useful when I was living in New York City because it could stow up like this in my backpack, but yeah, it just is, I don't use it anymore. So we have these two, much less cute, but they keep your beverages warm.
Oh, the steamer. Really not been using that.
No. While you have a 10-month-old is really tough. It is the next day. We all got a little overwhelmed with the kitchen decluttering project yesterday, and we just decided it was best for all three of us if we just called it and enjoyed the rest of our Sunday, and we decided that I would finish the project here alone today. Before we get back into the kitchen organization, I want to just speak to this for a second because this is something that I am always thinking about and trying to learn and grow from, and that is multitasking. I think I'm not alone in having the habit of constantly trying to multitask, whether that's something as simple as watching a YouTube video while I'm doing the dishes or trying to accomplish 2 work tasks or 10 work tasks all at the same time within the span of a day. And now specifically as a mom, trying to do things, whether that's film content or get a little bit of work done or scroll on Instagram while I'm with my daughter. But there is nothing that makes me feel less present, less connected with her if I'm with my daughter, and less regulated myself as a human and as a mom. And whenever I'm trying to accomplish 2 things at once, it just makes it so that I'm doing 2 things very poorly. So I feel like that's something I'm embracing too, is that it's not just, oh, I'm not gonna get as much done for my own mental health. No, whatever it is that I'm trying to do, I'm gonna do it so much better if I'm able to devote my full self and my full attention to it. So this is a journey that I'm on that I'm sure I will continue to reflect on in future videos here on YouTube, but I just wanted to put it out there because I think so many of us can benefit from this, not just if you're a parent. To stick with the theme, we can think of it as a mental declutter, just doing one thing at a time. All right, so now back to the actual kitchen declutter. We really did the majority of the work yesterday. We cleaned out all of the appliances and we actually got rid of a lot of stuff and we're able to just sort of reorganize in a way that is so nice. I've already been enjoying the benefits this morning. All that we have left is the pantry space up top, so I'm just gonna go through and do a quick little clean out there. And then the one other big thing is the countertop space. I mentioned yesterday, I really like a clean countertop. I don't like cords, which unfortunately I think I'm just gonna have to deal with. But Carson and I sort of talked through last night over dinner what we can do about the counter space to clear it up a little bit. So I'm not doing this without his permission. I know what I'm going in to do. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so over here in this corner, we used to have our mortar and pestle sitting right here, and we moved that yesterday into the cabinet that's just outside the kitchen. It's already looking much cleaner over here, which I'm enjoying. We have to have our kettle here. We use the kettle multiple times a day, every day, and it needs to be plugged in, unfortunately for me. So I'm gonna have to live with that black cord there. Obviously, we need our knives here. And then we listen to music all the time here in the kitchen while we're cooking, and these are the speakers that we have. They have to be plugged in. We have two of them. We have one here and then one over there in that corner. And so that's where the other cords come in. They're really long cords. We have it bunched up back here so you can't see it as much, but it does look better without the mortar and pestle. So there's that. All right, we're dealing with a much more active kitchen today. We've got some dishes drying. This is Murphy's bottle drying rack as well as my pump parts. So we've got those drying right now as well. Since she's away at daycare, I'm pumping throughout the day. We need this, obviously. This is very much in use. We used to have a bunch of different things here. We had a kettle here yesterday and we moved that out into the cabinet. This used to live down there. We use this every morning for chai, and we just moved it up here and it looks better. The baby monitor. Now, I'm sure, I have not discussed this with Carson. I'm sure he's gonna roll his eyes, but I think we can just move it out into a common area, and we always unplug it anyway and just kind of take it around wherever we're going. So, I mean, how much better does that look? That's so much better. It's just a small little thing, but it's like we don't need this plugged in right here. And then we love to have fresh baked bread. Carson bakes bread and probably 3 times a week, sometimes 4. He calls this his bread corner. We've got our stand mixer. This actually has bread dough rising in it right now, so I'm just gonna move that out of the way. Normally that's obviously underneath the stand mixer. This is the scale that he always uses, and he usually just tucks it back there. And this is what we had a little bit of a discussion about yesterday. I was like, we've just cleaned out all of this space in the counter. Why don't we put this under there? Now let's dive a little bit deeper. We've already discussed, we have this speaker here. It's plugged in here. We don't need a salt lamp in the kitchen, and I recognize that it's kind of a weird place to have a salt lamp, but we just love the vibes of it, especially at night. It's really calming. But once again, if you're gonna have it here, then we're gonna have all this cord. So this is here, and then this black cord, this is for the stand mixer, which I bet, oh gosh, I gotta clean out back there. I bet that I could tuck that all back there a little bit more, but you see what I'm saying? Like, cords. Cords! Obviously not perfect, but I feel like it's just a little bit cleaner. I mean, this is subtle, but it really is so much better. Something I haven't addressed are these 2 Dutch ovens, but we just don't really have anywhere that makes sense to store them. And I really don't mind the look of them, and we pretty much use them every single day. So I think that they're totally fine there. It honestly serves as more of a drying rack for them anyway. We got rid of a lot more stuff than I was expecting for us to. I mean, a lot of the stuff we're getting rid of is just going down into the basement for now, but we do have a fairly sizable donation box, so that's kind of exciting. In any case, things have just been streamlined in this kitchen for sure. The countertops are slightly less cluttered. Some of the cabinets that were overflowing with things are now just much more organized with much fewer items, so they'll be easier to get in and out of on a daily basis. And honestly, I'm pretty proud with how well organized our pantry items were. I didn't have to do very much in that department. This is always good to do every once in a while. I'm feeling really proud of us. Thank you so much for watching and for joining us in this series. If you have an idea of what we should be decluttering next, please let us know down in the comments. We love hearing from you. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.
You just want me to pull ones that I've been willing to get rid of. All right, well, there's a few back here. We'll keep Ina Garden because you just enjoyed her biography. Supernatural Every Day. Probably not going to be the best cookbook in the world, but I haven't actually read it. This is the Bible if you want to be a professional. This is a truly useless cookbook that is actually just an advertisement for Chelsea Market. I'm open to getting rid of that.
Oh my God.
What? This is an absolute Bible. You should get it. This is a great cookbook. This is a really cool cookbook if you want to learn about cooking indigenous North American ingredients. This is a solid cookbook. This is another one that's more about plant medicine. Another excellent cookbook. This is a really awesome classic book on eating unusual parts of the animal. This is also a useful book on that. This is more of a useful like reference manual. This is an awesome book that is way more than a cookbook, and honestly, I know the Gourmand has done like a whole series, and I'd love more of them because it's so cool. Like the first half of it is like arts and culture about the egg. This is awesome. Curry Trail book. This is a bizarre cookbook that is more of like a period piece that I really enjoy reading and is full of insane recipe concepts. This is one of the best books ever written about food. This is really an awesome book that is also, you know, only sort of a cookbook, but more about how to process masa. This is a super cool book that I actually have used so many recipes out of. A classic cookbook. This is a really cool cookbook, Small Victories. This is very cool as well. This is somewhat practically useful, but probably we'll get rid of that eventually. This was a gift that I think has some great inspiration in it, but I haven't used a lot of it yet. We'll keep it. It definitely has cool plating ideas. This is really good if you want to make sure you're making 4,000 calorie meals to eat after skiing. Classic Ottolenghi cooking vegetables in good ways. This is how to be a snob, but honestly it has so much useful information about, you know, how to choose good fruit and all sorts of useful stuff. If you don't own any cookbooks, this is the one you should buy. A really cool cookbook that makes French food feel much more accessible. This is an awesome cookbook that I use a lot, and also just reference before or after a farmer's market trip. I don't even know where this came from, but I'll read it and then decide. I also haven't read this, but I do like Half Baked Harvest's Instagram. And this is a really excellent book for nourishing a new mother. Definitely keeping that. All right, so basically the Chelsea Market cookbook, and I don't even know that I really want to get rid of it because when I opened it, it was full of cool stuff.
So not getting rid of a single cookbook. Cool. But it looks a little cleaner.
Yes, it does. See, okay, as I was saying, we actually don't have enough cookbooks because we have all this space here, and so then they fall over whenever I'm, you know, filing them. So the need is for more cookbooks, not less. That's our journey to minimalism with this.